1 second too late, darling. Well, look what we got here. Am I dreaming, or are you the prettiest thing I've seen in these parts for quite some time? I'll untie you when I feel like untying you. Caution before chaos, dear, I like to say. I don't want to blunder in carelessly and do something rash I'll regret tomorrow. No sense in untying you before I know what's really going on. That's right. I shot these 2 men that were stringing you up, but that doesn't mean they didn't have a good reason wanting you hung. I've never seen you before, and you're not around these parts, so why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? How about starting with a name? Don't even want to give me a name. Well, that's bloody rude, isn't it? It makes me think there might be a little more something you're trying to hide. Me, I'll be happy to oblige. My name's V. That's right. Some people call me that as well. So you do heard of me. Outlaw's only a name some folk used. I prefer vigilante. But if a cute girl like you want to call me an outlaw, I'll allow it. As you can see, giving me your name shouldn't pose much of a problem now. After all, what kind of reputation could you have that be worse than mine? Still not talking? No matter. I'll just call you Cutie then. Not a fan of that one. Well, I suppose I could change it to deceased. You like that any better? Don't think so. So unless you give me a better option, Cutie is. Now, on to another business. Why are those 2 on you swinging from a tree? I'm aware who those 2 men are, or rather were. Randy and Jake Rickelson. A couple of nasty brothers you ever met. I shot them before questioning them about why you're here because, frankly, I don't think I'll get an honest answer from them anyway. They're a couple of new good lowlife that has been after me for quite some time. They've been wanting me dead without thinking about it even after I have a drop on them. I think you would agree, seeing as how they were about to send you to the next life, that ridding them this world of their existence wasn't wholly a bad thing. I'm aware they were wearing badges. They ran with one Runefeed, a notorious evil monster around these parts that come up with a bright new idea of becoming a sheriff in this territory rather than a bandit leader. It was a clever move, no sense fighting the law when you can become the law. Now he ran this territory like it was his own personal plaything. His gang does his thieving and marauding in plain sight. And guess what? Who's gonna stop him? Anyone tries either end up in a cell or the ramped up charges. Or they wind up in a shallow grave. Looks like they have that second option in mind for you. If you don't mind, my dear, what made them decide on that course of action? Heading to Stony Ridge. What's there for you? You got a family there. Maybe a husband you're returning to. No. Then why go to Stony Ridge? No, cutie. I don't think personal business cut it at this point. You're currently sitting on your horse with a noose around your neck. If I wanted to, I wouldn't even have to shoot you. I'll just spook your horse and that would end your journey real quick. So why don't you give me a little more information then? That's none of your business. Yes, I just said I know those two are no good cutthroats. But that doesn't mean you're not one either. Just because you're cute doesn't mean you're not a scoundrel. Sometimes the cutest one are the meanest. Help? With what? How are you planning to help the good folks on Stony Ridge? What's in those saddlebags? Come here, let me take a look. Cutie, I won't go kicking at me anymore if I were you. You might just make your horse up and gallops away. So just calm down and let me see what we got here. Bottles. Bottles filled with... What is this? What have you got here? Is this medicine? I heard that an illness has fallen upon the people in town. Are you bringing them something for that? Why would the sheriff want you dead for that? Fine. Don't say anything else. It looks like I learned all that I could learn for right now. You, my dear, are not the most forthcoming individual. Which makes sense in what you've been through today. You probably trust me as far as you can throw me. But that doesn't mean you're one of them. Trying to get medicine to those ailing folks in Stony Ridge doesn't make you a desperado worth of being hung. Let me untie the ropes from the tree. Now, I never said anything about untying your hands, cutie. But taking this noose off around your neck, I believe I said that I'll untie you when I feel like it. And honestly, I don't feel like untying you just yet. You're coming with me. Of course, I could untie you and set you free, but you see, that was never an option. I wasn't determining if you were someone who could be released. I was determining if you were someone worth keeping. I saved your life. If I haven't come around, you'll already be dead. And that makes you my property now. That's what I said. I saved your life, so it's mine. Well, whether you see it that way or not is irrelevant now, isn't it? Even if you don't like my logic, you're the one with her hand tied behind her back and with your neck still secured by the noose. And I'm the one with a loaded gun. 4 loaded guns if you want to be specific, as well as 2 Bowie knives ready to go. So pray tell, darling, how are you planning to stop me if I decided to just claim you? Of course I can claim you. I believe I just explained why and how. Now come on. We have plenty of time to discuss this new arrangement of ours on the way home. For now, let's get out of this blazing sun and away from prying eyes that might be interested to knowing what happened to Randy and Jake. Oh, come on. Eat. It's just one more bite. Don't be stubborn. What do you think refusing the last bite will prove anyway? You had to be hungry after what you've been through. I doubt you ate even before I brought you here. And plus, we did spend the entire day reaching this spot. Now, darling, eat. There we go. A good girl. Why shouldn't I say good girl? After all, cutie, you're mine. I can call you whatever I want. Well, if you're mine only so long as I had you tied up, then there's no incentive for me to ever untie you now, is there? Oh, don't look at me like that with those puffy eyes. I'll probably end up untying you someday, but I need to carefully weigh my option first. Caution before chaos. I have to do no such thing. You, in fact, are the one who had to do as I say. I rescued you, so now I own you. Why are you struggling so much with that concept? It's rather straightforward, isn't it? You should be dead, but now you're not dead. And the entire reason why you're not dead is because of me. If I haven't stepped in and saved you, we wouldn't even be here to have this argument with me. Here you go with your whining again. I don't want to hear it anymore. Then I have to gag you as well as tie you. Now, darling, do you really want me to do that? That's what I thought. Answer me this, cutie. Are you alive? And are you appreciative of me saving your life? Then, at the very least, don't you feel you owe me something? You see, cutie? You're not disagreeing with my stance. You're just cribbling over the terms. No, stop. We've been over this time and time again. You're mine, and that's that. I'm done talking about it. Come on. No, just come here. We're gonna get cozy for the night. That's right. It's going to get chilly tonight, so come here. You're gonna cuddle up next to me for warmth. No, it's not inappropriate. I appreciate you trying to be a lady, cutie, but it's really gonna be cool here tonight. Especially once the fire dies. So please, just come here. There you go. I'll lay back on this rock. You lay your head on my chest here. Go on, it's okay. My chest don't bite. That's a good girl. I'll put this blanket over both of us to retain the heat. Why should I stop calling you a good girl when it gets that embarrassing reaction out of you? It does make you even cuter than you already are. And I didn't choose the name Cutie for nothing. Now calm down and relax. I want to rub your head and run my fingers through your hair. Does that feel good? Good, I'm glad. Ready to tell me anything else about yourself? I suppose that's fair. If I wanted more information about you, then I should be more willing to tell you a little bit about myself. What do you want to know? Really? Of all the things you could ask, you choose to ask me why I use the expression caution before chaos. My, you really are an interesting girl, cutie. It was the sheriff. The sheriff was the reason why I said that. He was the man who made me who I am today. You could say that. Truth is, this whole world turned upside down. Or at least my end of it. My dad used to run with him. But before that he was a ranch hand where he met my mama. They fell in love and had me. Dad taught me everything there is to know about horses, and my mom taught me everything there is to know about shooting. On my honor, my mom was a crack shot. She could even take the wings off a gun. My dad, however, couldn't hit a black bear even if it's just 2 feet away. But he has a thing with horses. He knew them inside out. He loved horses and they loved him. Something like a horse whisperer. When I was 8, we fell on hard times. My dad lost his job when someone rustled the herd he was helping move to Texas. He couldn't find any decent work after that, so he took a chance and decided to run with the sheriff for a spell. Figured someone robbed him. It was only fair that he take some back. My mom, however, wasn't happy about it. But my dad told me it was that or starve, and he wasn't about to let that happen to us. I don't know everything that happened while he was in his gang, but I do know Dad came back one day with a wad of cash in his possession. We bought a farmstead and made a go with it. It was hard work, but we had each other and we were happy. And then, one day, he came out with his gang, only this time he got a badge. Says he's there to arrest my dad for all the crimes he committed while he's in his gang. I don't know whose ass this guy kissed to get this badge, but now he had it out for my dad for daring to leave his gang. And plus he has a force of law behind him. Ain't that ironic? That man's trying to arrest my dad was the man who got him to break the law in the first place. The sheriff promised to get a fair trial, but my mom knew it wasn't true. She knew my dad's going to be hung before they even got back to town. Or shot in the back. He killed 2 of his men before they even touched their gun. But the sheriff shot him clean through the heart. And then he shot my dad next to while he was crying over my mom. All while I was watching. I was 16 at that time. I wanted to, but I didn't have a weapon on me. Even though my mom took out 2 of them, but there's still 5 left. I choose caution before chaos. I would run off to regroup and start the flame of my retribution. I jumped upon my horse Firefly. It took off faster than a tornado in Oklahoma. I spent the last few years doing what I can to take that bastard down. While he put a price on my head and labeled me outlaw for seeking justice for what he did. Thank you, cutie. I'm sorry too. I've been sorry for the rest of my life. You know, sometimes I think it could be better if I choose in chaos over caution and just charge to the nearest henchman and let them shoot me dead. But then I would never have been there to save your life, cutie. Why am I keeping you? I've been out here on my own wreaking havoc on the sheriff operation while living isolated and alone for a few years now. Frankly, I wanted someone to hold. I wanted to feel the touch of another person again. True, if I untie you, you'll be free to hold me back. But why would you? And that's why, my dear, you're still tied. Your silence tells me no. Or at least that's what you're not sure. I don't feel like taking that chances. I tell you, I claim you and you're mine now. Oh, but don't worry, cutie. I'm not that vicious outlaw those stories claim. Most of them has been exaggerated by sheriff to make me look like a monster he is. I aim to put a bullet between his eyes as soon as you're close enough to do it. I don't aim to harm those who don't deserve it, and that includes you. They can hang me, I don't care. I will have avenged my mom and my dad. But enough of that. You don't have to tell me nothing else tonight. We're both tired, and I'll keep stroking your hair as long as I'm awake. Now I tell you, you never have to worry about that with me. I'm not planning on hurting you, I ain't planning on hurting you. Close your eyes, cutie. I'm happy with you here on my chest tonight. Tonight is the caution. Tomorrow will be chaos.